Don't you just love technology?
You see, we're
Don't you just
created
love
in
technology?
a magnificent vibration, and born risk takers. You see, we're
Don't you just
created
love
in
technology?
a magnificent vibration, free, and that conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. How do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did. I hope you.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. I'm just going to do that. Hello, welcome back. You're still here and you're still alive. Those of you that went and did a live yesterday, the world didn't come crashing down around you. You weren't shot down. You didn't burst into flames. You're still here. Guess what? If you did something like that every single day for the rest of your life, you are going to be miles ahead than where you ever dreamed you could be. And I'm telling you that because that's how I live now. If you had told me 10 years, Polly, this is the life that you're going to be living, I'd be like, how the hell do you think I'm going to do that? There is no way that I can even see that for me. Yet here we are. Now, I want to tell you an honest truth here, that we didn't just happen upon each other. You attracted me into your life just as much as I attracted you into mine. Some of you will grow me. Some of you will maybe turn this off today and go, okay, I'm just going to go back to what I've always done. Some of you will say, you know what, I'm done with this. And if I can find somebody to help me, you will go and find somebody to help you. If that's me, that is not up to me, that is up to you. But what I want for you is to do something with all this information and something different in your life, because you are in control. You are in complete control of it. And I also want to remind you that this all comes down Monday night. I do not bow down to procrastinators. I do not let people tell me how long it has to be up there for. We take it down 8 p.m. NT time on Monday evening. Why do we do that? Because if I leave it up there indefinitely, you will get to this indefinitely. There will be no sense of urgency. And when there's no sense of urgency, you won't change. So it all comes down. I don't give extensions. So like I've had every time I say this, people are like, can you just leave it up until Tuesday? Can you no, sorry, we don't do that. I did go back on my word and give you the recording from Tuesday night because I thought it was very valuable for a lot of you. And because so many of you are doing the work. So there's your reward to be able to watch that recording. What I would suggest for you to do is to go back through this week, if you have the chance, on Saturday and Sunday and Monday, and watch them all again, because you would have changed in some way. And when you go back and watch it, you're going to hear different things. Why? Because remember your RAS factor. It will tune out those things that you are not thinking about. But now that your thinking has changed, even just slightly, you will have different cognitions when you go back and watch it. I have watched things for 30 days in a row. I have read the same chapter of a book for 30 days in a row, sometimes 90, depending on what my mentor have said, like, you need to understand this, Pole. Come on, you've got to get this into your subconscious mind. And how do we get it there? Through repetition. So get into the repetition and get it done. So what did you learn yesterday? And for those of you that did your lives and have taken action, now look, I just want to be honest too. This is scary stuff because we've been so conditioned to worry about what other people think. So doing a live is scary. So I want to applaud you all for doing it. And if you're still sitting on the fence, you've still got, like, the prizes close off on Saturday lunchtime or whatever time we do the Zoom. That's when the prizes stop. Actually, no, it's Sunday. Here I am telling fibs. Sunday, I come on and do another live and draw the last lot of the prizes. So you've got until about lunchtime Sunday to get it done. So get in and get it done. Your future self will thank you. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. I had been given these cards. They're called affirmations for badasses. And the card that I pulled today, it's stop making excuses and just start the fucking thing. So all of you that are sitting on the fence waiting to start what it is, the next phase of your life, the next chapter, get it started. Go. Now I want to remind you what fear does. Fear creates chaos. It creates a mess in your mind. It puts you into this place of, I don't know, it's crazy town. And what is it? Because you can only entertain one thought at a time. So you've got one thought, I should do this, and the other thought was going to be counteractive to that. So you are just going to go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And if you stay in that place for a very long time, or even any period of time, then it does start to send your body into a crazy place too. And that's where a lot of depression comes from. I had depression, postnatal depression, after I had my second child. They tease each other like, you gave mum with depression, I didn't. And it was because of indecision, and because I doubted myself so much, and I doubted who I was as a mother. And it led to some awful things, some awful thoughts, and then some awful words that came out of my mouth, and then also some not so good actions. So depression really is thinking, or not, like we were not taught to think. And look, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychologist and all of that, but when I went to the doctor and he gave me antidepressants, and then I went back a month later and I said, I don't like these. And he said, yeah, not many people do. And I said, well, how do I do this? How do I get out of this as fast as I can? He said, it's really simple. Stop thinking the way that you're thinking. And I thought, are you fucking crazy? How the hell can I stop thinking that? Anyway, I said, can I go talk to somebody, like, I don't know, every now and then, because, I've got these thoughts in my head, and if it's only about the thoughts, how do I change them? Can you send me to somebody that can help me? So he sent me to this lady. She was just more interested in writing a book, so she just let me talk, and then, okay, off we went, and just like no helping me. Anyway, there was one day that I was a little bit beside myself, and I rang Catherine Mental Health, and Jane here answered the phone, and I was in tears, and I said, I just need to talk to somebody, and the lady that I normally talk to isn't there, but I need to talk to somebody. And she says, oh, you can come in and talk to me. Now, she's got an accent. So I went in there, and I was a little bit scared because I'd never talked to her before. And she was just so blunt to me. And she's like, are you going to remain the victim of your life? Are you going to really keep thinking that all these people are doing all these things out to get you? Because if you keep thinking this, you're going to send yourself insane. And I thought, oh. And so my ego was so big and so, like, talking so much shit to me. And so she pulled me into line. And so every time then I wanted to go and talk to somebody, I would ask to talk to her. So, like, that's a mentor as well. That's somebody coaching you. And I didn't realize it at the time that I was employing a coach, because she didn't buy into my shit. She just said, no, I don't think that's what they're doing, Polly. I think you're making that all up in your head. And if you made up a different story, you'd feel much better. Now, I only had to be on antenatal depressant tablets for 4 months. And I think it was, well, I know largely it was due to Dr. Scatini telling me that I need to change the way that I thought, and then backing it up with Jane Hare. So I am forever grateful for those two for helping me see that I can change my life by changing the way that I think. So that then when all of this material that I've been giving you this week came and it just sort of fell into my lap, I thought, oh my God, this is what I've been looking for. It makes sense of my life. It makes sense for where I am right now. So the number one thing I think from yesterday is you've got to control your fear. You can reject any idea. And the more that you reject these thoughts that do not serve you, the better off you will be. Now, that takes a decision. And I want to just think about decision. When you decide to do something, you don't stop until you're there. That's what a decision means. Like, the other day we decided we're going to the Philippines at Christmas time. And there was all sorts of stuff going on, and there was lots of roadblocks. And I said, doesn't matter, we're going. We'll figure it out. It'll happen. Don't worry. And yes, some things worked out differently than we thought it was going to be, but it's all booked now and it's done. But it comes from decision. There is a big difference in being interested and being committed. I want you to think about that. Interested and committed. When you're interested, you will do the things that please you. And the results will probably stay the same, because if you do the things that are a little bit hard, like, I want you to be honest. If we weren't holding your hand and being there, helping you all along the way and giving you actions to do this week, would you have taken the actions that you've taken? You would have just kept doing what was easy and comfortable for you. So when you make a decision and you're committed to it, you'll do the things that give you the pleasing results, not just the pleasing actions. Pleasing actions will keep you stuck where you are. When you do the scary things, you'll start to get pleasing results. And that's what we all want. So I want to, like, there's in some of the studies that we do, or that I have done, there is something called the common denominator of success. And if you boil it down, the common denominator of success is that successful people are willing to do and make a habit out of doing the things that failures are not willing to do. And what are the things that failures don't want to do? Well, they're the same as what you and I don't want to do. We probably don't want it. Like, I'm up at 4 a.m. in the morning. This morning it was 3:25. I woke up before my alarm, so I thought, oh, well, I might as well get up. I didn't want to do that when I first started, but that's how I knew I was going to fit everything in, because I was still running a company and working in it full time, and I was doing my studies and working with clients outside of that working time. I didn't want to. I had to make it a habit. So when you make it a habit, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to try and push yourself into it. It doesn't take any willpower. It just happens. Just like brushing your teeth. Another thing is like turning up, no matter what. Now, I've had 7 sick days in the last 7 years. 7 days that I couldn't turn up to my calls. One of them was the day that Bob died. I was a little bit messy that day. Others have been like one of my dogs was chucking a fit and I had to take him to the vet, and I'm sorry everybody, I can't do the call today. And other times I've just been ill. But that's 7 in 7 years, which on if you looked at my track record, I used to have sick days all the time. So it is something that when you decide I'm just going to turn up and keep turning up and do the best that I can each day, everything will change. Facing your fears. That is something that failures don't like to do. Or they'll do it once or twice and it's just like, no, that is just so much going on in my body. And it's like they lack the understanding. It's the ignorance that will keep you stuck. You think about it, all of you that did a live or posted. I know there were some of you that were scared to post because you're sort of messaging me on the side or sending me an email saying like, here's my goal. And I'm like, can you put it in the Facebook group, please? I'm afraid of what people will say. Well, guess what? They'll probably have something to say about you anyway. But if you're going after what you want, you've got to put the blinkers on. You've just got to put them on and just focus on you. Who gives a rat's ass what anybody else is doing? Don't focus on them. Failures probably won't employ a mentor or a coach or a personal trainer or somebody that is going to hold them accountable. Think of all, like I know there was one of you that wanted to get a personal trainer, just go and do it. Hook it up and get it done. But be prepared to do the different actions. Be prepared to show up. Taking daily action. People that don't make it big don't take daily action. They sit back and wait. They learn to respond rather than react. Now, this is a huge one. This was one of the things that I really had to work on because I was a huge reactor. I reacted if my kids got a report that said not so good things or they were lower than a bloody A. Like that was the standard that I had for them. They had to be perfect. Otherwise, there was something wrong with my mothering. So I'd react about that. Once Ryan, he was at a friend's place and they were throwing limes at cars. So the cops pulled him up. So the father of the other kid said, sorry, Paul, but they got pulled over by the cops. And I'm like, holy shit, like I'm such a bad mum. Like we make so much about us and take so much personally that if we stop doing that, it would be better. So really thinking about responding is thinking. It's originating an idea. How can I do this differently? It's pausing, taking a bit of space, where reacting is remembered action. This happens and I do this. It's habit. So changing. Asking for help. Now, that is probably one of the biggest challenges that I ever had, was asking for help. I was like, nope. And that came from, if we asked for help in our family, it came with ties. So it was like there was like a strike on the wall, like, okay, Polly owes me this, and if you do that, Polly has to owe me this, and da 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 da. Like there was big strings attached. So that was one of the things when we all started having babies and looking after each other's kids and stuff. We made a pact. The three of us here in Catherine was say yes if you want to. If it doesn't fit for you, you can say no, and you don't owe me anything if you say yes. Don't be pressured into anything. I want you to be happy. And when we had that approach, it was just so easy. And rather than, well, I looked after yours, now it's your turn. And if they say no, then you take it personally, and it's just like, oh, that bloody bitch, and da 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 da. So yeah, really being able to willingly give and graciously receive. And successful people are really willing to change their mind, like change what goes on in their head and their ideas about life. So I really want you to think about that. This week, you've probably changed at least one idea about yourself and about life. To post what you're posting, you've looked at yourself, you've gained a bit of knowledge. There will be something that will change. And, you know, I've worked with a fair few people. I think it's like, I don't know, 200 or 300 people in mindset, whether it be health or in goal setting and bringing in the life that they want. And I met this lady once. She came into the workshop and she applied for a job, and she didn't have any experience, but there was just something about her that I thought, you know what? I'm going to put you on, and I'm going to teach you how to do some bookwork side of things and teach you how to work in our team, because it just felt so good when we sat down for that 10 minutes. Now, the other lady I had in the office, she did not like her on the first couple of days, and then they became pretty good friends after that. That was quite funny. But her name is Claudia Steele. And so I'm going to bring her in. So Claudia worked for our steel business, and then she came over into this business and was a Limitless lady for a few years. Now she's out there doing her own thing. I've just got to get her to turn her video on so I can. Claude, turn your video on. Here she is. And unmute yourself and let me pin you next to me. How do I do that? Wait, look, I have to talk to myself all the time. How do I? Oh, remove pin up there. Rightio. Now we just got to make sure that this is happening, and I might have to change the view. Sorry, Claude.
Don't be.
I won't then. It's not. Here we go. Maybe go here. Because I don't do this very often, there's no memory for this. What if I just pin you and then also pin me? No. Oh, look. There we go. We're both up. Okay. Good stuff. All right. Hello, Miss Claude. Sorry about the delay.
Oh, that's okay.
All right. Well, why don't you? Oh, no. I moved something. Sorry. Gallery. Here we go. This will work. Maybe. Anyway, you'll start talking and it'll change over to you. All right. So why don't you start off by telling us what, like, your part of the story there, and what life was like before you sort of came to work at Hans, and then maybe a little bit about the beginning.
Sure. So for those who don't know me, I'm Claudia Steele. I met Polly at the end of 2020. Before I met Polly, life for me was extremely, I would say crazy negative. I was a mother of two, a wife and a business owner, and I drank a lot. And I had a lot of negative thoughts that punished not only myself but my whole entire family. So when we were living in Darwin, we were working at an export yard, and we drank a lot, like I said, and my thoughts were so intrusive that I wasn't sure that my husband, I don't know, I just thought my husband would maybe self-harm himself because it was just so negative. So there would be days where I would send the kids down to the shed to check on Lincoln, not so much check on him, but just go say good day to your dad and see what's going on down there, because I would be too worried to go down there myself. Fast track a little bit. I've moved to Katherine, and I've only ever really worked with cattle and horses and done my own bookwork, and my accountant would tell me that I did it pretty poorly. So when I went and applied for a job for Polly, I was up front and I was very honest. I said, look, I don't have very much experience. I do my own bookwork and I haven't been audited yet, so maybe I'm doing okay. And sure enough, I got the job, which was really cool. And when I came to work in this office, Polly, no, it wasn't just Polly, there was 2 other ladies that were working in there, and they were just so positive that it was like, it was eating at me. I would cringe coming to work because these women were just so positive, and I'm just like, I can't deal with this. Like, they're just happy about the traffic. They're happy about whatever. And so what really was quite funny, actually, I came into work and I wasn't feeling very well. I'll tell you why I wasn't feeling very well very soon. And I said to these ladies, I said, oh, I'm not feeling too good today. And they're like, oh, you know, if you just change the way you say that, you'll start feeling better. And I thought, yep, I'm working at a fucking mental institution. These people are crazy. Anyhow, it turns out that I was pregnant, so I was feeling ill. But anyhow, fast track a little bit. I'm living in a caravan at my friend's house. I've gone away for Christmas, and on my way back to Darwin, we fly into Darwin and then come back down to Katherine. COVID happened on the plane. Something happened on the plane and we went into lockdown, and I thought, shit, I'm going to lose my job for this. And they were just so happy for me. Polly said, this is, how good's this? You've been away for a holiday and now you get to just sit in a room and just relax. And I'm like, these people and their happiness, what the hell? Anyhow, I've come back to work and I've been at work for 2 weeks, and Polly's launching a free training similar to this, only this is probably 10 times better because she's grown so much. And I signed up for it. And by day 3, I was in. I was like, yes, this is for me. So within the 3 days of doing the training with Polly, I was able to manifest some money to pay off my car, which I thought was super duper cool. And then I signed up to work with Polly and have Polly as a mentor and a coach. And also, like I told you, I was living in a friend's caravan. And when I moved to Katherine, they said, it's going to take 12 months for you to get into a house. And within the first week of doing this stuff with Polly, I had a few house inspections to go and look at. So that was really cool.
And a house in 6 weeks or something.
And a house in 6 weeks, yes. Yeah. That was after I signed up with you. So,
yeah. Tell me what you're sick and tired of before you, like when you came into that training, yeah. What were you sick and tired of?
I was sick and tired of being a cranky, not so much cranky. I've always been a very happy, but always focusing on the negative side of things more so than what was good in the things that I was doing. I was a little bit of a grouch towards my children and my husband. You know, I would make a deal out of him not wanting to come to the supermarket, like just little things like that, just that really had no precedent in my life at all, but I would make a deal out of it. And I was just so sick of that.
Cool. Okay. Where did I go with my question for you? Sorry, Claude. Here they are. All right. So tell us what's changed and what have you achieved?
Okay. So what's changed for me, and funny as I didn't tell Lincoln that I was signing up to work with you and have you as my coach, and he'd been away for 3 months working, and we had a family holiday in Darwin at a caravan park, and I guess I wasn't reactive. I was just responding to the situations with the kids, and I was just a completely different person. And it wasn't until like Saturday morning, so he flew in on Thursday, Saturday morning, he said to me, what are you doing? Like, why are you so different? And then I was like, I've got myself a mindset coach. And he's like, I don't care, whatever it is that you're doing, just keep going with it. So yeah, sorry, what was the question? What's changed? So
yeah, what have you achieved and what's changed? Yep.
Okay, so I'm not a reactive mother anymore, or wife, or even business owner. Don't get me wrong, there is times where I have to go, righto, let's do a do-over. That's not the person I am anymore. But yeah, I don't excessively drink. I'm not negative about a situation. I feel that people come to me when they want a positive spin on things, not just a laugh anymore. So that was really cool. And what I've achieved, goodness, like when I first started, we'd paid off all our debt, credit card, paid out the car, and then we bought a grader, which was really cool, and expanded our business. We cracked within 3 months our first ever 50K month, which was really cool. And then we also got our house within the first 6 weeks of living in Katherine, and I actually started writing that I wanted a rural block. So I ticked that off within, 6 weeks or whatnot. And then business was expanding, and we decided to move to Queensland to be closer to
Hang on,
family.
you missed something. Remember that time we went out and you drove a car back into town?
Oh, yeah, yes. Well, actually, that's coming up
Okay,
soon.
right. I'll shut up.
Yeah.
then.
But yeah, so we moved to Queensland to be closer to family, and whilst we've been over here, Lincoln's business has expanded a lot. Okay, back up, Claudia. I've missed something. I have missed that thing. Anyway, sorry. So I paid off my Kluger, and then the following year, I really loved Craig's car, which is Polly's husband, at the workshop. And one weekend we were out doing some things, and Craig let me drive his car, and I was like, yep, this is me. I could just see myself driving this big old family car. Anyhow, so I got my 200 series that I always wanted, so that was cool. And then we wanted to try something completely different, and we bought a butcher shop. So that was
Hang on,
really
Ab, you came to retreat for that though, remember?
Oh, yes, I did come to retreat for that. I did come to retreat with this idea of I was going to buy this butcher shop in town. I don't have the money for it. I don't have the knowledge for it, but I really want to do it. Like, it's just something so out of my comfort zone, something so random for Lincoln and I. And yeah, I did the retreat with Polly, and while I went home, and I had this list of things that I wanted to discuss with my husband, and we bought the butcher shop by Christmas. Like, went to the retreat in September, and by December we had the butcher shop. So that was just crazy, out of this world. By the 14th of January, we'd refurbed it and opened it up. So that was really cool. Then somewhere in the lines, I ended up pregnant with our 4th child, which was like a little
Little wild fit baby.
My little wild fit baby. And then Lincoln had stepped away from his business to run this butcher shop. And then he just kept getting phone call after phone call. And it started off as little jobs here and there. And then he just bought a little bit more gear. And then he had 1 or 2 followers. And then it just kept expanding. And then we put a tender in for this fencing gig in our local shire, which was around about $1 million. And, oh, my God, the nerves of the 2 months after we put that tender in, just waiting to hear back, because we had absolute faith that we were going to win it. But every time it came close to finding out of, we'll let you know the next council meeting, and we won it. So it was like our first ever massive, big job. It was really, really cool. Yeah, we achieved some really cool goals last year. And I remember my first training that I did with Polly on my wants list was an arena. And that's what I ticked off my list last year. So even though I wrote it on my list 5 or 6 years ago, it's nearly 6 years, I ticked it off last year. So it's like, that was really cool, knowing that, it doesn't have to happen right now, but yeah, I'm still ticking things off on there. So yeah, Lincoln's business expanded again, and I was left in the butcher shop, and I just felt like it wasn't my thing. I was doing it to, I guess, keep the shop open, to supply something to everyone else. Everyone else's needs were getting met, but not mine. And so I made I guess it was a little bit tough. We're taught not to worry about what other people think about us, but sometimes we just sort of get caught up in what other people may think about us, especially being in such a small town where you see every single person from the town nearly every single day. So when I made the decision to close the butcher shop at the start of the year and run my horse training business from home, at first it was a sickly feeling, but as soon as I closed the doors and emptied the shop out and got my first 3 clients' horses dropped off at home, I just knew that this is it. This is what I'm meant to be doing. So I'm part-time training horses, part-time stay-at-home mum, and yeah, I'm just living the dream now.
Yeah, cool. What would you say, like having all this knowledge now, what would you say to somebody that's been or in your position or to yourself back then?
That it's okay to have help. It's okay to express yourself and put it all on the line and have someone say, hey, have you tried doing things this way? It doesn't mean you're a failure. It doesn't mean that you're weak or anything like that. It's just having someone else's view on it that's not your negative view. I just ask for the help.
Yep.
Having a coach changed my life. It saved my marriage, and I think it's made me a better mum. I really, truly do.
Yeah, I get that. Don't worry. I understand that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to add, Claude?
Having a coach, well, for me, was just a flow-on effect. It created a better marriage. My parenting was better. I was a better friend, a better employee. I learned how to say no with no strings attached. Like, no is a complete answer. I can say no, and I don't have to explain myself, and I don't have to feel bad for it either. And I learned to be a little bit selfish. And this is something I will work on forever, because I am a mother of such young children that we always tend to put everyone else's needs first. But it's okay to say, nope, not doing that this time. I'm actually going to go take 5 minutes for myself, or a weekend away, which I do that often with my husband. I'm like, Rado, are you good with the kids? I'm going away. I need to go and have some time to myself. And that's okay. So,
and I think we were talking about you in the team meeting the other day, about wanting a break, and remember that time with your fingers, because we don't consciously decide how, like we've got this negative thing that the only way to get a break is if we have sickness or we have something like this happen, and learning then to let that sort of stuff go.
Yeah. That you just want a break to go and have fun.
Yeah. And being conscious about it, because I think, a lot of people do that. We were talking about it because Sue brought it up. She's like, I wanted an early retirement. I didn't fucking want a brain tumor though. But we don't consciously go, okay, and I want, like, we add to it what you'd love. We just like, I just wish this was different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you got a helicopter ride there, didn't you? Or a
no, I didn't have to drive. Anyways, that's okay. I've still got fingers, so.
Anything else, Claude? Are you good, or?
No, take the step. If it scares you, that means it's the right thing. I'm doing it all the time with the kids.
One thing, everybody, like in your portal today, there is a book a call link. And I remember when you and I had that chat, and I said how much it costs, and you're like, holy fuck, how am I gonna do that? Lincoln's gonna kill me.
And that was that was November, so that was 2 months before even. Yeah. It was really cool.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't change anything. Like, I was working for Polly as a Limitless Lady for quite some time. And I thought, when I took on this horse training business and wanting to step away or whatever, I thought, I want to see if I can do this by myself. But I tell you what, I'm always going back to the Life by Design page, or, my old workbooks and stuff like that, because the truth is we can't do this by ourselves. We need someone.
And it was good. I saw you sign up for this training too.
I was like, I need some positive vibes.
Cool. Thank you, Claude.
You're so welcome. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you really enjoy this. And like Polly says, keep watching the replays. They're so good. You might think you've heard it all today, but you'll go back and you're like, oh, I didn't hear her say that.
Yeah.
So,
thank you. Cool.
You're so welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya. So that was Claudia Steele. Like, we've had some fun together, her and I'll tell you what. There's some things that I want to let you know about me. This is the, I suppose, the perfect time to tell you a few things about me. I was sold a lie. I was sold a lie that if I was successful in business, so in our steel business, if I had a business and my money problems were not as challenging as they were, and that you're in business, that you're going to have it made. That's the biggest load of bullshit that I've ever heard, because I was still the same person. I think money is like alcohol. It amplifies who you are. So I probably turned into a bigger bitch. I worked my butt off though. And I have never been I've always been the person that if I'm going to ask somebody else to do it, I'm prepared to do it too. So if you're in my group already and working with me, you'll know that I did all the accountability calls. I've done everything that I've ever asked my team to do. I've been in there and in the trenches with them, because that's just the type of person that I am. Like I want people to know that I'm there no matter what's going on. If I have to get up at 4 a.m. and go until 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I will be there, because that's just who I am, I suppose. I always, I had Michelle DeForno reminded me of this a few years back. And she said, Polly, everything that you've ever done, you've always done 110%. So I just know that no matter what you do, you will be successful at it, because you don't give up and you just give your all. And I think once we find what it is that we truly love, and we get a picture of the lifestyle that we want, then that becomes a whole lot easier. Because I'm honest with you here, you're not going to be able to just sit on your hands and do nothing. You're not going to be able to meditate your way to success and just visualize it. Action is the key. You have to take action, and action can be pretty bloody scary if it's not something that you're used to taking every day. So just because I owned a business and we were doing really great, we still are doing really great actually. It didn't change who I was. So my first coach was an NLP coach. So I did timeline therapy, which was a really great thing for me at that time, because it really cleared out a lot of the junk that I had stored up in my head. And I paid $5,500 for one weekend just to have a one-on-one and do some of the clearing. Now, this was not in a hotel or anything like that. It was here in Catherine. I would go there. They had a room booked, and I reckon I cried pretty much the whole day, just letting stuff out. But that was my first part of having a coach. And then I noticed when Craig's dad took his own life that we didn't react the way a lot of other people did. There was understanding. And if you rewatch some of the stuff from Monday night, I had a bit of an idea that okay, he decided this. It's got nothing to do with us. It has got nothing to do with what he thought about us or anything like that. It was his decision. Now, I know suicide is different to other things, but it was his decision, and we could move past that. And we, everybody sort of at the family said, without you, Per, at the moment, what have you done differently to us than to be able to think this way? And I said, we've been coached and we've been taught to think a bit differently and to respond rather than react and slow things down. And so then, we opened the door to the family to then go and get some coaching, mentoring, and maybe some counseling and stuff like that for them, because they saw the value in it. So today is decision day, and it's a decision for you. I have put a call link out there that if you want to maybe work with me or work with my team, or just to see what it entails, then that's what the call's for. We're going to ask you, I'm going to ask you. The calls are just me. So I only have 16 spots, and they start today. So once they're done, because I'm going into a training on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday next week, and then fly home. And then Monday, I've got another thing booked in for the week. So we only have the time that I've put into those calls. So you've got to be fast if you want to apply to work with me. But what I'm going to ask you is, I'm going to figure out where you are now. I'm going to work with you on figuring out, what do you truly want? Because we touched on it this week, but I'm sure we could go a whole lot deeper for you. We'll uncover what's standing in your way. And it's going to be something pretty simple, but maybe you don't want to see, or your subconscious mind does not want you to see, because if you see it, then you're going to have to change. And when you see something and become conscious of it, then it sort of almost pushes you along, like, and says like here I am. Are you going to do anything about me, or are you going to let me here and I'll sabotage your whole life if you let me? So, and I know that some of you will be really scared of this. I know when I first decided to sign up with Bob, I was petrified. Like, I did this paradigm shift with Jen, and this room was a different shape. Back then it was a kid's sort of toy room. And I was getting up at 11 o'clock at night. So I'd go to sleep for a little while, and I was in trouble because I had my sister's 3 kids here, and Craig didn't sign up to babysit them. I did for the weekend while mum and dad went fishing. And I was staying up all night and sleeping most of the day, and he was dirty at me. But at the end of it, I wrote, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm one of Bob Proctor's 1% of coaches in the world. Now, I became that in 17 weeks by doing the very thing that I've got used to do this week. Now, you can do it by yourself, but you've got to do it for yourself. And you don't have to do it by yourself. We are all here cheering you on. I have this group, Life by Design, that I keep doing these trainings every month. But my question is, what do you do in between the months? If you got this much growth out of 3 or 4 days, imagine what can happen in 12 months. Now, I know not all of you are ready, and that's fine. I know not all of you will jump on and book a call. But I want you to think about, what do you want for your life? If you can accomplish what you've accomplished in 3 or 4 days and had the breakthrough and the knowledge, imagine what 12 months of studying this stuff would do. I know what it does. So do my clients. And another thing that people are going to say is like, how do you justify the money? Well, you probably can't. Not at the beginning. It's not until, like Claude, when you look back and go, holy shit, I can see the path that I was going to be on. I can see what was going to happen. And, I sat down a few years ago and I thought, what would have happened to me if I hadn't have done this? Like I said, like, I was sold a lie that if you buy a business, everything's going to be good. It's not. But I was 43 when I punched my daughter in the stomach, and I thought, if I keep going on like this, and I hadn't talked to my mum for at least 10 years then, if I keep going on like this, I'm going to have the same relationship with my kids. I'll be divorced like my mother was, and I would probably lose whatever share I had in that business. I wouldn't have many clients, or customers. I had somebody come back at Christmas time and they're like, where's Polly? And I'm like, oh, mate, she has gone. And they're like, yeah, who is this happy person? I said, yeah, there's a lot of growth in here. There's a lot of investment in here in time and in money. So I sat down and I thought, why did I think I should change? What was going to be my life if I didn't change? I didn't believe that I was responsible for my results. Nope. I was the victim. They were happening to me because of this and because of that and because of this and da. I was a cranky person, an angry person. There's a Tim McGraw song, Angry All the Time. Oh, that one really hit a nerve with me. I didn't believe that I could get to the place that I'm at now. I didn't believe that I could travel the world and work from anywhere. I didn't believe that my husband would support me in that. Remember, he went to Darwin. Oh, I went to Darwin one weekend with my sister-in-law, and I forgot to put broccoli and bloody muesli bars in the cupboard in the fridge. And I got in trouble when I got back because he had to take 3 kids to Woolworths. I'm like, hello, welcome to my world. But I had a pretty big chip on my shoulder. But, to be able to just go and flit off and say I'm going away for the week and I'll be back this day and that day and da, and him to be able to do the same, I couldn't see that for our life. No way. I had to control everybody. So I sat down, I thought, why should I change? And, I do this quite often, like, what do I need to change now? What will be the benefit if I do? So these are some of the things that I was afraid of. And these were some of the things that I thought about, like if I didn't change, this is where I was going. So I'm scared that my life will be nothing at the end. No legacy. There'll be nothing left behind. It's like, oh, that's right. She was my mum, or she was this or something. There was nothing that was going to be, oh, Polly Hearn. Yeah, I remember her. But if I stayed the same, that my kids would hate me. Now, when my father-in-law took his own life, we were sitting around the table down at the farm, and the priest was there, and he says, okay, now somebody's going to have to do the eulogy. And everybody was like, oh, shit, we didn't even think about that. And I just went around the table asking Diane, asking the sons and stuff, and asked everybody. And then I don't know what happened, but my hand just went up. It was just like somebody had a hold of it up in the sky and they just pulled it up. And I was just like, holy shit, because I was so afraid of public speaking. Anyway, I did that eulogy and it really opened my eyes. And I thought, what will my story be? Mum was drunk most nights on the couch and she yelled and screamed and then would pass out, and she'd say things that when she was drunk that weren't so nice, and we'd get grounded, and then the next day she'd let us off. And like, there was just, anyway. Yeah, here's one of them. I don't remember a lot about my life, and I don't back up what I say with action. I was, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I'd say all these things and then never take action on them. And if I didn't change, that my kids wouldn't trust me, because, there was times when I betrayed their trust because I was a bitch, actually. I'll just be honest. If I stayed the same, my kids would have been ashamed of me. Now, I was pretty proud. I was at the club on Monday night for my son's birthday, and I gave him a present, and he actually gave me a kiss and said, thanks, Mum. And I thought, like, in public, that's pretty cool. Like, compared to, when I was growing up, it's like, I'm not kissing you in the car to say goodbye. Nope, I'm just getting out of the car, sort of thing. So, like, just noticing all the changes that have happened because I changed. Because I have to ask people's permission and opinion of what I should do. So I have someone to blame if it doesn't turn out good. But then, the flip side of that too, that if it did work out, I couldn't take the credit. So I was always at the mercy of other people. Because I'd become all the things I never wanted to be. I didn't want to be the person that I was, and I thought that I didn't think I ever would be that person. But because I didn't want to be that person, I focused on what I didn't want. Of course, I got it. Because if I don't change who I am and what I tell my kids, that they're not worth it, that Craig is not worth it. So if I didn't change, what I'm telling them is that they're not worth me changing. And that really, that was not a nice feeling to have, because I can't keep going like I am. I'm sick of feeling second rate, that I'm not worth spending time on. I'm sick and tired of thinking that I'm doing something wrong because I can see others doing so much better. That was a big comparison. I'm scared that this is all there is for me. I'm scared that I'll give up on trying. When you have depression, sometimes you're just like, what's the point? And I was afraid that's where I would get to. What if I end up on my own? And I really believe that living the way that I wanted to live is just a dream, and it's not for me. It's for others, really rich people and people that have it all together, and the people that have the good families, and the people that have the better background, and the people that finished more than grade 10 at school, and like, not for me. But I changed all that. And I worked bloody hard, and I still work bloody hard on looking at areas that I need to change. You know, there's a story about a fly. There it is. One moment. Oh, that's not the right one. Anyhow, there's this story about a fly, hey, how it just sits on the windowsill and just tries to get out, and it dies on the windowsill, but it just sat there just trying to get out and hit a window pane where there's a door just open 10 meters away, and all it had to do was fly there and get out, but it died doing the same thing over and over again. That was me. I had my husband explain to me that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So you're like, hello, are you going to wake up one day, Polly? For goodness sake. And you know, when I first started this, I would just watch everything in the morning and then watch it again at the evening. And he would come in and he's like, oh my God, did you just hear what he said? Like, holy shit, if we change that, then this is going to move and this will shift. And it's like, yeah, I hear it. Don't you worry. And I'm working on it all. But I want to read you this. There's two things I want to read you here. The first one is the one and only you. Every single blade of grass and every flake of snow is just a wee bit different. There's no two alike, you know. From something small like grains of sand to each gigantic star, all were made with this in mind, to be just what they are. How foolish then to imitate, how useless to pretend, since each of us comes from a mind whose ideas never end. There'll only be one of me to show what I can do, and you should likewise feel very proud. There's only one of you. That is where it all starts, with you, a wonderful, unlimited human being. James T. Moore. Like, just think about that. There is nobody like you. There never, ever will be anybody like you. Your belief system is yours to change. It's yours to play around with and shift and move so that you can be, do, and have whatever it is that you want. You, not anybody else. And you should be free to. A marriage isn't something, well, in my eyes, a marriage isn't something that holds you back. It's two people supporting each other in their dreams, and they come together to celebrate what they're doing with their lives, doing the things that really make them sing. So I want you to go to that portal and have a think about booking a call and taking it further. Apply to have a coach. If it's not being, apply somewhere else to have a coach. Have somebody help you. Because if you don't, this is probably where you're going to get stuck. Or this could be the change. The first paragraph, this is autobiography in 5 chapters from Portia Nelson. I walk down the street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. I'm lost. I'm hopeless. It isn't my fault. God, it takes me forever to find a way out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I could fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place. But it isn't my fault. It still takes a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I see it is there. I still fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. It is my fault. I get out immediately. I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. I walk down another street. Now, that can be the story of your life. I know that you've been trying to change things. Why do I know that? Because I did, and I still am. And I know you've tried on your own. And maybe you've had a coach. Like I've had people that come to me that have had a coach before, and they're like, Paul, I'm a bit scared because this one didn't help me. I said, it's all right. We've got you. We've got you. I have a team. It's not just me. I'm the only one that does the calls. But I do have a team that comes and helps me keep you on track, check in on you, see how you're going, help you back from the edge when you think you're about to fall. Because I know how tough it can be. And sometimes we feel like it is a lonely walk because guess what? Remember, it's only 3% of us that are going to get what we want. 97% of the world is stuck doing that same thing, walking down the same street, not even noticing, it's just blaming. Now, there'll be some of you that are not ready to take responsibility. You're like, well, it's not my fault. Everybody else in the world can change. Well, I'll be honest with you. You'll be waiting a very long time. Because if you try and make other people change, they're going to run from you. Even when you change, you create the need that other people have to change because they don't know how to interact with you anymore. Then they will run away from you. I've lost a few friends. God, I've been called a cult. I know that a few of you will think that this is a scam because I've had a few people tell me that and like, Polly, I really thought you were a scam. And that when I got in that you were just going to go, thanks a lot, see you later. I'm like, no, I know how tough this is. I know how tough it can be to really, really change. And this is why I love giving out prizes because I know how tough this work can be. And, you know, I used to be the person in the classroom that'd sit up the back and hope to death not to get called on and not want to be out standing out because, you know, whenever I had vulnerability, if there was something that I was vulnerable with, it would be played up in my family, like, and they'd laugh about you and joke about you. You know, when I was 14 or 13 or 14, I was in grade 9, I think I was, at high school, and I was in maths class, and there was this boy that I'd grown up my whole life with, sort of pretty much, well, from like preschool, and we'd gone to school the whole way together, and he had a girlfriend, but you know, I'd started to like him and have feelings for him and stuff, and I didn't think he knew, but you know, like things are displayed. It doesn't matter, like people catch you looking and smiling or whatever else. And anyway, him and his girlfriend split up. And I got this note in maths class passed to me sort of over here, and it said, will you go out with me? If the answer is yes, I'll meet you at the stairs outside the science lab. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, I'll tell you what, I had butterflies in my tummy. I was like, you know, as nervous as all hell, but couldn't wipe the smile off my face. Like, holy crap, like I'd like brought this, like I was good enough for this person to like me. Anyway, I got down the stairs and there he was standing there. Now, this fella was a bit taller than me. So he's bent down to give me a kiss. And just before that happened, everybody from my class, my grade, there's about 30 of them, come walking around the stairs and were just laughing and clapping their hands and cheering. It was just a joke. He was still with his girlfriend, so he walked up to her, or she walked up to him and kissed him. Now, I was deeply humiliated and hurt, and I don't know what other words you could use to describe that, but I grabbed my bag and started walking towards my bike. So I rode a bike to school, and another friend grabbed my bag, unzipped it, and emptied it all out on the ground. So I was a girl and I had started menstruating and stuff. So there was all of this stuff all over the ground, and I was humiliated and I was crying. So then I had to pick all this stuff up and try not to let them see that they hurt me that much. Put it all in my bag, got on my bike and rode home, wishing and hoping that my mum was asleep. Because if mum found out about this when she got drunk, the same sort of thing that I did later on, when she got drunk, she would tease me about it and make fun of me about it. And I was just so grateful when I got home. She was asleep on the couch, and I just snuck into my room and cried and did the things that I did, and then wanted to not go to school the next day, but I had to go to school, so I had to go there and face it. Like, you talk about facing a fear when you've had that go on the next day, like the day before, and you have to turn up at school. I didn't hang around with those kids after that. I started hanging around 2 years above me and stopped hanging around those kids. But it stayed with me for a long time, like fear of people laughing at me. So if I turned up to an event or a club or something like that, I used to have a couple of drinks before I got there, because I was scared that if I walked in that people would talk about me, or it was just something that really stuck with me. So I just want you to know, like, I do understand how scary some of this stuff can be. Like, facing fears is really fucking scary. I get that. But on the other side, you got to think, like, on the other side of fear is the good stuff, like the stuff that we want. And we've got to face them. And the more that you do it, the more, not desensitized, but the more that you accept, okay, I just have to do this. I just have to take action. I just have to, like, turn the fear into action. Just go, okay, that's it. I'll just do this. And don't worry about anybody else, because otherwise that anybody else is in charge of your life, not you. So from yesterday, these are the 5 people that I've chosen to receive gifts from me. Jane Keane, I know what that took for you to do that. So well done, well done. Nicola Pennell, however, if I say that wrong, I am apologizing. Sandra Kemp, Jackie Douglas, and Anne Pedersen. You all did a marvelous job. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. These gifts will be sent out. I'll have them all wrapped up before I go for Saturday. So, and then I've got Valentina that drops all my stuff off, so she'll be delivering them all to the post office for me on Monday. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you and be proud of yourself. And if you haven't done a live now, get in there and do it. And notice how you feel once you've done it. That sense of accomplishment, that sense of achievement, that thing that's like, yes, I smashed that fear. Because otherwise the fear will run your life. And if you want to have a chat to me and you want to know how to go to the next steps and that, go to the link, book a call, and let's get started. Like, the first ones start today. So there's a few calls today, but remember, I've only got 16. Now, there's 437 people that are on this training. Not everybody's in the chat. However, they're all watching, or pretty much all of them are watching. So make sure you get yours if you're serious, and you got to be serious, because the work may be a little tough, and I do call you on your bullshit. And I do my best to help you change the way that you think so that you can live a different life. Because this is your life, and we only get one shot of it in this body. So let's make it the best we can. All right. Tomorrow we're talking about money. Money is not what we've been sold on, and it is really more of has a supporting role in your life, if you allow it to support you on doing the things that you want to do. So I'll give you some different ideas about money tomorrow. What you do with them is up to you. And then Saturday we talk self-image. And then also, if you've got any questions, we're in a Zoom after the self-image lesson on Saturday. If you have any questions, we'll do a visualization on Saturday and really get you in harmony with your goals, so that no matter what you do, you leave this little segment of your life with a whole lot of knowledge and clear action steps of what you can keep doing going forward. Because if you don't change, your life won't change. All right. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Remember, stop making excuses. Just fucking do the thing. All right. Okay. Love you all. Bye-bye.